Hey everybody, it's Neon Lore. Welcome back. I've been gone for a couple weeks, but like I said in the previous short, I'm back and I'm happy to be back. I'm changing the way that I'm doing these videos. The last couple videos have come out as rather academic, and that's not really what I'm about. I kind of want to just sit here and kind of chat about and chew the fat about like sci-fi and topics that I find interesting, topics that are science fiction related, that appear in video games, books, anime, manga, you name it. So if there's a topic you want to hear me talk about, or you want to discuss further, then feel free to put it down in the comments. I'm like I said, I'm changing up the way I'm doing things. I'm gonna start approaching these videos more from like a storyteller point of view, than from an actual like academic point of view, because I feel like I would love to chat about this stuff like I'm like chatting with my friends about with especially when I'm chatting with you guys, because I'm no expert. I'm just an idiot with a microphone. So let's see where this goes. And again, please, if you want to hear about anything that is sci-fi related, or if you wanna hear me make a story or spin up a narrative behind some sort of topic, be it AI or transhumanism, like we're gonna talk about today, or anything else for that matter, just let me know. Put it down in the comments, and I'll make sure to put it down in the agenda. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Just one last thing. Thank you so much for sticking around. Much love. Picture this. It's about 40 years into the future, or maybe even less. Think about 20, maybe 15, depending on how quickly technology is advancing. And people now use, instead of prosthesis, instead of pieces of hunks of plastic and metal that are barely usable and act more as aids to better your life in ways that are very simplistic, cybernetics come in, and you now have the ability to utilize your arm in ways that were very close to the way that you utilized your natural born arm. What would that look like? Well, morning comes, you wake and you flex your bionic arm. It responds almost instantly thanks to a neural interface grafted into your peripheral nerves. It may vibrate and act as an alarm clock. It may vibrate and let you know on like a screen or something that there is firmware available that will increase its capabilities and sharpen its reaction time. The prosthetic leg that you may have, the cybernetic leg that you may now have at this point, auto adjusts its stiffness, and you stand using predictive AI to stabilize your balance before your brain even registers it. So it acts more like a normal human leg, natural born leg. It mimics the instinct of standing up and have your body self-adjust. You go from your bed to your bathroom and you barely recognize that the leg that you have or the arm that you have are no longer your flesh and blood arm and leg, but they're constructs of silicone and steel, or probably like aluminum, if we're gonna be honest. It would probably be like a lighter metal. I can't see them being steel unless they have like a steel core or they're used for combat. Either way, you walk to the bathroom, again, not fully recognizing that the leg, maybe your right or your left leg, or both legs, are no longer the ones you were born with, but they're the ones that were given to you via miracles of technology. Your hand now made out of silicone and like I said, aluminum. It has haptic feedback that is able to let you know that you're grabbing onto either a toothbrush or a razor, any sort of utensils that you use, or any sort of skincare or anything that you, whatever your daily routine or morning routine requires. You're able to grip it in such a way that you're not crushing it. It automatically, your hand automatically adjusts without conscious thought. You don't even have to think about actually how hard you're gripping either your toothbrush or your toothpaste or anything along those lines. You then snap to the kitchen where you're making breakfast with the same kind of adept fine motor control that your regular flesh and blood hand has. You're doing it with a cybernetic hand or cybernetic arm. Something that is not necessarily impossible nowadays, but it's significantly more difficult. You're able to also grab the pan with your cybernetic hand in such a way that is allowing you to, even if the pan gets hot, you're able to hold it, because it's not something that it's really going to be an issue. The haptic feedback will tell you it's hot, but you may have the capability of turning off the fact that it's burning hot, and the metal part of your hand can still hold the hot pan. It gives you not just the capability of cooking on your own again, but it also gives you almost a superior capability of cooking. As somebody who cooks a lot on on my stove, the ability to be able to grab a hot pan and just keep going is something that is highly attractive. And there's how the technology that we have now, like phones and stuff, will integrate and react with your prosthetic arm. Because the arm itself can have a sort of like mini computer within it, or it will have some sort of mini computer within it, because it's highly unlikely that these prosthetics, these cybernetics, are going to be just simply functioning as a like reading your neural implant. They'll have to have whole hosts of small technologies within them to be able to do what they need to do. But the neural interface within that you will probably have implanted in your spine, which then communicates with the rest of your nerves, there will be some sort of small neural wrist implant that will function really as kind of like a low bandwidth brain computer that allows you to basically scroll without having to use voice or touch. It might even read your retinas and basically scroll that way as well, which is, to somebody with ADHD like myself, is kind of scary, because the last thing I need is to be able to go on an unlimited doom scroll session without even having to touch my phone. But think about it, people without the capability of moving because of either cerebral palsy or a massive brain injury will be able to communicate or will be able to interact with the screen just by using their eyes. They already can do that. I mean, Elon Musk and his biotechnical company were able to already implement that in a very low grade way, but imagine 20-30 years down the line what we'll be able to do. And this is kind of where things get a little scary for me, because it starts to integrate kind of the cyber security part of my life into the basically forward thinking science futurism part of my brain, where it's like, okay, where are the threats here? Is it, the docking bay for your arm and or legs and or the exosuit that helps you walk, the place where you put your prosthetic or your cybernetic implant that allows it to charge overnight? Is that an attack vector? Are your legs, arms, neural implants, or the exosuit that you're wearing that allows you to do anything, is that all wireless? It's probably going to be wireless. So is it going to have access to the internet? If so, what sort of controls are in place in order to protect from any sort of cyber attack? And at that point, like, you know, it happens in Cyberpunk where they start hitting people. They start attacking their wetware, and they start, like, basically either frying them out from the inside or locking them out from their cybernetics. That's gonna add a whole nother layer to scams, and it's something that is very troubling when my paranoia starts to take over. But that's just, I guess, me. Anyway, I like the concept of cybernetics. I've always liked the concept of cybernetics. I'm somebody who constantly talks about, like, wanting to get my arm lopped off the moment you know, Gen 2 or Gen 3 cybernetics come out and show to be fully functional improvements to the already existing arm. I'm by no means a human purist, so, like, I'll definitely be somebody who upgrades, but, you know, that's just me. Some people don't see it as an upgrade. Some people see it as a perversion of the body, of the human body. And that's also something else that the concept of cybernetics really kind of leads you down. It's the idea of at what point replacing in of bits and bobs makes you no longer human. And what point does transhumanism become a problem? At what point does somebody who has no cybernetics become less than somebody who has cybernetics? At what point does implants and improvements in your cybernetics make you more than human or make you better than human? And does it make you better than human? You know what I mean? It's all these questions that keep me up at night sometimes. Not just the fact that, you know, you could be having lunch one day and your cybernetic arm gets hacked and all of a sudden it's trying to kill you. But, you know, it's kind of where I am right now when it comes to cybernetics. It's something I would love to see become more popular, become more heavily used, and in the next 20 to 30 years, when, you know, I'm close to my 70s, it would be nice to have the option of, you know, replacing potentially damaged or potentially weathered and atrophied arms and legs for something that is a little bit more capable of, you know, allowing me to go for hikes or climb mountains or go for walks or runs or stuff like that. You know, the concept of going to the gym is going to be very different. But at that point, maybe we start, you know, challenging each other to different things. To you know, instead of lifting 300 pounds, now you have to live a couple thousand, depending on how strong those cybernetics are, right? But probably not a couple thousand. Anyway, this is kind of, I think, where I'm gonna stop for right now when it comes to cybernetics and transhumanism. I like the concept of the whole, like, man-machine interface, and maybe next time we'll talk a little bit more about the more, like, almost metaphysical aspect of transhumanism, of at what point do you stop being human, the more ideological parts of this genre, you know, kind of the themes that Deus Ex really hammers home, you know, the whole concept of human versus the transhuman, the concept of being pure in your body compared to somebody who is, I guess, upgraded or cybernized, I don't think that's a word. Somebody who's allowed implants into their body. You know, what is one better than the other? Is that something that is really a question? But anyway, here's, I think, where we're gonna call it for today. I'm starting to ramble, but again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying around. If you like me kind of talking about theoretical, points of theoretical scenarios, or if you'd like me, spinning a narrative around these kinds of topics, just let me know. Go ahead and put in a topic down below in the comments. And if you like hearing me just chatter on about this kind of stuff, then maybe subscribe, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.